Auto text to talk, you get no snacks. Oops. Yeah. Okay, so this is the Aerosphere Simulations Piper Warrior 2. This plane is available on the org store. It's also available on their website. And yeah, we're going to do a little flight, like I say, from Idaho Falls to Jackson Hole. Dogs 3447, good morning. And yeah, we're going to have to get it quite high if we're going to get over this mountain going into Jackson Hole. Yeah, so kind of excited. This particular plane is one of many offerings from AerosphereSimulations.com. They have the Turbo Aero 4. Of course, the one we're flying today is the Piper Warrior 2. They have a Piper Archer 3. They have a Piper Aero 3, a Seminole, and a Turbo Seminole. So, yeah, that's Aerosphere Simulations. And of course, you can also get their Archer 3 on the org store. And also, the plane that we're flying today is the Piper Warrior V2. So this is V2. It's been updated for X-Plane 11. So I don't. If you've had this before, you may want to grab that update and check it out. Blue Idol Kuji, hello. Yep. So, wow. 3D modeling is really nice. We've got. I didn't have the previous version for X-Plane 10, so I can't compare it to that model, but yeah. By the way, I put the chat up on the. I put the chat up in the corner, but I think I need to make it so it turns off the bot, because the bot is quite active. So I may have to modify that a bit. I'm just experimenting. It's kind of nice to have the chat overlay when it does say bot activity equals false. I wonder if it needs to be a bot name. I wonder if you can specify a particular. Let me check that out. Star power. Yeah, yeah, it's yeah, the levels are automatic. So, oops, I don't want to do that. All right, showbots. Bot activity equals false. So I wonder if it has to have bot in the name. I don't know. That's interesting. That's good to test it anyway. Let's try this. Actually, I take it back. Let's see if Nightbot comes up. So if I type in exclamation root, maybe Nightbot will come back and give me an answer. Or I can go METAR KIDA. That's not working either. Interesting. No. Is Nightbot even around? Yeah, she's around. He or she. I don't know if Nightbot's male or female. With the ironically named commands, you're still here. Yeah. You've come to see your IRL trainer. Yeah, an example of what not to do. All right, so I do have some custom commands in here. Let's just test this. Nightbot's really, really quiet. Really quiet. Coffee toast. Yep. Interesting. I'm going to join the channel and then, or leave the channel and then join the channel. All right, well, we'll come back to that later. I think Nightbot is not. Is Nightbot asleep? Nightbot has not had the coffee. All right, so I'm going to turn the chat overlay off for the time being just because I don't want to have the bot screaming at me. I got to figure that one out. But anyway, there you go. Captain DS Joel is now our Nightbot. So, okay, we continue. This is the, like I say, this is the Piper Warrior 2 from Aerosphere Simulations. Of course, the handy dandy get rid of the yoke. Go ahead and turn the battery on. Parking brake is down here. You can see it animated there. We've got mixture control, clock the throttle, little fuel pump action. Oh, we'll crank her up and we'll get her idle at about 1,000 RPM. I think I'm going to turn up some sounds here just for a moment. Those look pretty loud actually, so maybe I'll just do it down here. Maybe it's under volume mixer. We can hear a little bit of it. Okay, C206 stationary, good morning. Okay, let's go down here. I've mapped some views. Your avionics master switch is right here. So I'm going to turn that on. Also going to turn on the alternator. Turn the fuel pump off. In a Piper Warrior, would you just put on anti-collision or would you put on nav for taxi? It's so common to put the nav lights on in the jets, but maybe the anti-collision is better for the taxi. What do you guys think? All right, we got fuel gauges here. We got pretty even fuel. We're going to have to use the fuel selector down here halfway through the flight. There's no auto. Anti-collision is what you do. Okay. We got oil temperature, fuel pressure, oil pressure. I've never seen fuel pressure before. I just haven't looked before. We got your clock, airspeed indicator, turn coordinator, your HSI. Altitude, vertical speed. We won't turn the autopilot on yet, but we will turn the transponder on, and we'll squawk VFR. Looks like we got a fresh air fan. I have had to use carb heat in the few test flights that I did. Because of the temperatures being a little bit lower. I got our flap handle down here. We got 1, 2, 3 notches of flaps. And down here, I haven't looked at this one down here, but is that the altitude select right there? I think it is. You got EGT. Yeah, I like it. It's a cool plane. This particular plane is $24.95. So, if you're looking for a Warrior 2, this is your go-to X-Plane 11 updated aircraft. I'm going to go ahead and program up the GPS. We'll go flight plan. We'll go clear. Menu. Well, actually, yeah. Menu. Delete the flight plan. And we'll go, we're just going to go direct for now. Although we're going to have to really climb. So, direct to KJAC. Activate. There we go. You had me at $24.95 1 minute. There you go. Warriors are the yachts of the GA world. I did not know that. I think this opens. That's kind of a nice touch. I don't think that... No, headphones aren't modeled. Door. Click spot to get it closed again in a very particular place. The developer is not able to implement that you can use both radios simultaneously, but okay, at least this plane looks nice. And since JF will probably bring the Warrior soon to X-Plane, I don't really care. So, you're saying that the COM2 is not functional? Is that what you're saying? I don't ever use COM2. Svero, good to see you, my friend. I always just switch the primary on COM1, but then again, there may be application where you want to listen to maybe two different, like an ATIS maybe on another frequency. I don't know. Audio problem solved. Plug joining cable in. There you go. Nice. The ground handling is superb. It's working well there, for sure. I haven't looked to see if this is a common aircraft on FS Economy. I looked. Actually, I did look to see if there was one near Utah. I think the closest one was Sun Valley or something, but there wasn't any. There weren't any good jobs going on. So, can you add the wheel covers? I don't know if you can or not. All right, we'll taxi over to runway 35. So I'm also running X-Plane public beta 6, and this view is suddenly changed. That's interesting. Something's changed with the views. And I'll tell you right now, this looks really crisp on my screen. Like super duper crisp. Wow. Wow. Would normally use COM2 for second nav here. Years ago, no GPS then. Yeah. I don't, like I said, I don't even use, I should use nav2 for a you know, a second VOR, but nav 2 in here should work, right? I would think. Maybe not. The plane looks tiny on the runway. Yeah, it does. Okay, so we'll put on, for takeoff, I'm assuming we want a fuel pump. Turn on the landing lights, nav light. There's no visible moisture. I don't think we need any pitot heat. We're squawking altitude. We'll hand fly it for a bit, and then we'll turn on the autopilot. Just to give you a little review of what we're doing, we're going to be flying here from Idaho Falls, and we're going to just basically take off and then head east up to Jackson Hole. Now the terrain is quite high here. As you can see, it's 10,927 right there at that top of that peak near the ranch. So it may take some time. Now we are at elevation. We're at 4,000 plus feet here, 4,700 feet. So let's just take a look at the IFR low and see what we would have to do if we were flying an IFR flight plan. It looks like the minimum en route altitude is 14,000. So we'd have to, because we're flying east, we'd have to go at 15. Yeah. So we'll play it by ear. We'll fly over there, and if we're not high enough above the terrain, then we'll do some circling to get up to altitude. Do I happen to have a link to this one? So yeah. I'll send a link right now. There we go. There's a link right there. You can also get it on their website directly, but I personally prefer to have all my aircraft in one location, the org store. I know, we're going to need to put some oxygen on if we go up to 15. Yes, exactly. Speaking of, let's just quickly check the other thing that we need besides oxygen. That is fuel. I think we're good. I think I'm going to switch the tanks for takeoff just because what I've had on during for taxiing, etc. Hello, the Dirts. Good afternoon. Storkman, good morning. Nice to see you. What mic do I use? I use the Sennheiser E835. I'm trying to save up for the, I think there's a new Sennheiser, I think it's the 945. I really want that. I'm kind of an audio snob, I guess you could say. Silly mammals. Yeah, the Sennheiser E945 is the one I want down the road, because it'll be interesting to compare the two. What I'll probably do one day is I'll have both, and then we'll go back and forth, and you guys have to guess which one's which and which one is your preference. All right, let's go full mixture, and let's light this candle. There is 40 knots. We're doing a no flaps takeoff, by the way. Just to oh, a little wobbly there on my taxi. Whoa. Little rotation there. Whoa. Sorry about that. I'll blame it on the wind. Okay, let's trim her up, get stable. Quick flyby. Oh yeah. That's kind of cool. There's some falls over there. The road animations are pretty cool. Make a slight turn out here to the east. And actually, we will turn on the autopilot. And that's our course. Make a turn to the east. Reptiles, birds, fish aren't silly. Only mammals. That's very true. I've never met a silly bird. Alright, we'll go change this CDI here to GPS. I don't think the autopilot will pop out. Nope, it won't. There's nav. Help me understand. Does the reverse, the REV button here on the autopilot, does that do like a reciprocal? Curious. I'm gonna do a vertical speed. We'll go up at 600. That's fine. I'm gonna have to lean a little bit here, so we'll come down and look at our EGT. We'll peak it. It's coming up. We're just bringing back the mixture. Slowly watching that EGT rise. Wow, it's really rising. The closest thing to a silly fish is the clownfish. I think you're right. Wow, that's going right up there. Put on our noise canceling headset a little bit. So other than some of the ground handling, that was my bad probably. It's a good takeoff. And we're flying directly to Jackson Hole, where we're going to go hang out at the $1 Million Saloon. Here in a little bit, I'll do a poll for what flight we should do next. I'll give you a choice of a few options. McTryan, good morning, afternoon. Yeah, I was looking at the PBR on this, and I think that maybe they could have a little Val Dudes check, because I know that this door's modeled to open, but there's a little bit of it's not seamless on that. And then in some lighting situations, there seems to be a PBR. It could be a little more fluid across the body, but I think those are easy changes. That's my only critique so far. Reverses for ILS back course. Okay. I do wonder if the reverse would do back course of the GPS direction. Let's try it. Let's just experiment. So we're going to hit the reverse button over here and see what happens. Yep. I think it's going to fly the reverse of our GPS heading. Wouldn't you say? Yeah, I think so. And we don't want to go reverse. We just want to go nav. And we want to go direct to again. Yeah, I think they Nader here. I think they've improved some of the PBR in here. I think I see some reflections on some of the instruments. Yeah, right there. Those reflections are not too predominant, like too much. They're actually nice and subtle. So I think they've priced the product in the right location. $24.95 is not a bad deal. Hello, Casmados. I do need to. Well, no, I'm good on the RPM. Of course, there's no retractable gear on this plane. Not sure if that's a PBR problem or not. You can see the PBR on the bottom here. We're up at 9,000. I think we'll stay at 9,500. So I'm going to hit the altitude hold when we get up to 9,500. The 3D work, you think? Let's see, altitude hold right there. Okay, level off at 9,500. We'll watch our gauges. We've got we are on the right tank. That looks good. Yeah, I don't turn reflections on. In fact, that's like, if you look at my graphic settings, my reflection detail's all the way down. That's one of your big frame hits. I have high HDR, maximum texture quality, 8x on the anti-aliasing, world objects high, and reflection all the way turned off. Someone said that I think you can, with public beta 6, it seemed like there were seems like there was something to do with birds they changed. With the door, I would get some bungee cords or maybe some. There you go. You got gremlins in your internet, St. Wolfric? Get them out, but don't. You got gremlins, or do you have mugwai? Because if you have mugwai, you're okay as long as you don't, pour water on your internet. Maybe the developer is open to some dialogue, Sphero, and the reason that I say that is because the developer, Aerosphere Simulations, approached me about flying this plane, so they gave me a review copy of this plane. So the fact that they're reaching out to the Twitch community to show their wares is a good thing, and maybe we can inquire about the possibility of putting in extra work into the reflection issue, because I think that any developer wants to improve their product. It's just a matter of getting that constructive criticism or constructive feedback back. So maybe, and that's what I'm looking for, Sparrow, is that if you see some potential in his line of product, Let's work on making them better. I mean, and here's the other side of it too, right? We know a half a dozen guys out there on Twitch that actually do 3D work, 3D modeling, texturing, PBR. We know a guy that does flight models. We know a guy that does, systems programming. I don't know if you guys. I'm super excited about, Toto Ritko doing PT6 development in X-Plane. That's pretty cool stuff right there. So yeah, let's get more dialogue going on between, and we're flying it live, right? This is not a YouTube video. Well, it will be a YouTube video maybe later, but and if you're on YouTube, come to twitch.tv/JohnFly and join the live conversation. Yeah, that's exactly right, Mr. Dad Gamer. Yeah. And the thing is that what we need to be is we need to be diplomatic in our approach. And people need to sense what our motivation is. And our motivation is obviously to get more and more aircraft in X-Plane, and with those aircraft that we fly, make them even better. So sometimes the way that you present a suggestion is very telling. And as we all know, when you're in the forums, sometimes you cannot convey emotions, or, most of our communication technique is through our face. It's why I'm the biggest proponent of using a webcam on Twitch, right? People come to me from time to time asking, how they get into the Global Sim Alliance. And I tell them, well, we really like good audio, webcam. You can stream P3D or an FSX if you want to. But if you want to, talk dirty to me, you stream the X-Plane. But yeah. I'm watching YouTube. You doing this streaming gig live somewhere too? Yep. There you go. I think Rush has made some I think him releasing his Super Cub, he's super open to feedback on that plane. He is so open to feedback, and that's what I love to see is a developer, being open to make that changes and making that change regularly. So yeah. All right, we are 32 miles from Jackson. I'm not sure if 9,500 is going to get us over that last mountain, but we'll certainly try. My question to you guys, when I land, I'll go ahead and put up a poll. I think that I kind of want to do some Pilot Edge today. We do have one more route, basically 2 Clash Charlie airports on our list. So if you type in !Charlie or !Bravo in the chat, you'll get a link. I hope you get a link to that list. And as you can see on that list, we only have 2 fields left on our list. And then we have visited every Class Bravo and every Class Charlie on the stream live. I think we started in the spring. I did exclude several military fields though, so yeah. Jack was doing a stream yesterday where he was taking all kinds of suggestions with regard to his maintenance menu. And Benny Sim was in there and a few others. and everyone was chiming in saying, "Oh, I think it should be maybe named this," and he was changing things on the fly based on a stream suggestion. So yeah, there's the list for the Class Bravo and Class Charlie. So you guys can see the 2 airports that are left. Not the most exciting Class Charlie airports on the planet, but of course a very exciting state. Yeah, he's on the 737 V2 right now, yep. All right, let's do a check of our fuel. Seems like it hasn't really... It's gone down a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and do a fuel switch. Now, normally would you put on your fuel pump during that? Probably, huh? I know when we're flying in some aircraft, when you do a fuel switch, you got to put on the fuel pump. I can actually turn the fuel pump off right there, though. Because we're high up, well, there's no moisture. I won't need the pitot heat right now. Yes, yeah, Nader, yeah. I think Russia's here to stay. He's got so much information in it up there, and he's made a good product. He fixes other products. He's got more stuff in the plan. Yeah. I'll be honest though, man. Because I have young children around me. And I'll be having Twitch on the side. I can't watch some streams when I have the youngins around. And then even myself, when I'm alone and I hear a couple of words, it's hard to swallow sometimes. Hey Coop, did you get my email? Just wondering. How you doing, sir? Good to see you. Does the weather dial work in the FF? What do you mean by weather dial? Why the anti-military airfield approach? Because you don't have any aircraft that can climb at 8,000 feet per minute. I visited a bunch of military fields because obviously some Class Charlies share their field with a military field. I don't know actually why I avoided the military fields. I think it had to do with it wasn't very realistic flying general aviation, and I didn't have any military aircraft. But what I could do is I could go get that F-18 and fly around the military airfields. So your response was in the drafts folder. You should be all set. Okay, thanks, Coop. Appreciate that. Are you available? Are you available today to maybe walk me through some of it? Oh, okay. So I don't need to. Oh, okay. So do I need to register, or do I just put in the? Code. Okay, I think I'm getting it. But like I say, I don't know if you got the message. I didn't get an email back after I tried to register, but I think you were saying that. Yeah, I'm not, okay, so yeah, I'm not in the system yet, so I didn't get an email back. So just go into the store, but use the coupon code. Okay. Cool. Perfect. Yeah, I'll do that. I'm going to land up here, and then we'll do that. what is the well, we'll talk about it once we get on the ground. We're 18 miles out. Yeah. So we got a brand new plane to try that's that just became available today. So as soon as I get on the ground, I'll show you guys that. Cool. Thank you, Coop. I appreciate that. All right, I don't think I can get over that mountain. We got 17 miles to go. I'm going to climb just a little bit. Vertical speed. Oh, get rid of the alt. And we'll just climb up at 600 feet per minute. It's fine. Cajun Cacti, hello. Let's see if I can. Can't quite see where to put the code in. So when I get on the ground, I'll maybe have you talk me through that. That'll be awesome. All right, we don't want to get too slow going up here. Got to watch that airspeed. Seems to be dropping. I'm going to add a little throttle. I'm going to lean it a little bit more. Uh-oh, we got some steels going on, huh? Or maybe steel's not working. Alright, I think I can level off at there. Oh, there it is. Okay, cool. Alright, I'm looking forward to talking about that. We'll be on the ground shortly, and then we'll talk about this new plane. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I see it there below the liveries now, so perfect. Excellent. I'm excited. Are you guys excited? All right, I'll do altitude. And then after we clear this mountain, then we're going to have to just drop right down. Beautiful country. Really beautiful country. We're going to have to do some massive drop in altitude to get down to the field. Yeah, suffice it to say, this is the best Warrior I've ever flown an X-plane. By the way, I'm on the hunt for another Piper aircraft. I really want a Piper Archer, but I don't want the. I'm gonna get an Archer 3, right? But I want an Archer 2, circa 1976-ish. I believe there's a model available for X-Plane 10, but I'm not sure if it works in 11. So I'm really hunting for that. I know there's one on the org store that's for X-Plane 10, but I actually think it's an X-Plane 9 ACF file, and it may not work at all on 11. But I really, really want an Archer bad. All right, coming over the field, or coming over the mountain. We should see the field here pretty soon. This URL, good morning. Oh, the other bit of news that's relevant to the John Fly pit is I fixed, well, it appears that my electrical breaker situation has been solved. So for those of you who are in the savvy world of electricity, I'm not. There's a thing called an arc breaker, and we replaced that arc breaker with a regular breaker, and I think we're going to be okay. So yes, Microsoft Gamer, I will send you a link. You can get this Piper Warrior on X-Plane Org Store. And it's $24.95. And you also can get it on the not that one. We're not there yet. We're going to talk about that one soon. The Aerosphere simulations, which is not to be mistaken with Rush Aero simulations. All right, where's the field? Right down there. Okay, let's start our descent. Vertical speed coming down. You have to kind of hold it and drag it down. We can go down at 800. Oh. Get rid of the alt hold. Oh, that's weird. It's not letting me. Let's sync up the heading bug, and we'll go heading mode. Can't get rid of the alt for a second. I'm going to cycle the autopilot here. Autopilot on, heading, vertical speed, and we're going to go down at 1,000 feet per minute. Sure. Kind of can bring back our engine. You want a twin otter? Yeah. Twin otter 400. There you go. Foreshadowing alert. Rewind the stream. Exactly. One thing I didn't test, I'm going to try it now. I'm going to see how my SciTech panels are working. I may need to do some configuration, but I'm going to load up SPAD and see if I can use some SciTech panels with the SPAD profile.
SPAD.next. Connection established.
No, need to work on it. Radio panel's working. The multi-panel. There you go. Had to do a reset. Okay. Let's see how the heading bug works. No, I gotta do some. Oh, it's on my Cessna profile. That's why. All right, no problem. No problem. We'll configure that soon. This is a fun plane. I do like it. I think it's priced appropriately. I think the fact that they've made it updated to 11 is cool. I'm going to make some suggestions, some kind suggestions that they work on some of the exterior texturing the PBR, etc. Just some refinement there, I think would be good. It would. I don't think it would take too long for like a Val Dudes or someone to do it. So yeah. It's pretty cool. Alright, we'll go autopilot off. And we're going to hand fly this bad boy. There's our field right down there. I'll dip down a little bit. Bring that throttle way back so I can get into a flap operating speed. I may do a right 360 here for a moment, just to get down to flap operating speed. Or I could slip. You know what's coming, folks, and I'm kind of excited about this. This is what in the future on X-Plane, when I'm flying a Piper Warrior 2 around from Aerosphere simulations, or many aircraft for that matter, the home viewer, will be able to change the camera views. So if you're watching, and you prefer an outside shot right now, like that, you'll have the ability to control it so you can show what view you want. And the thing is that there'll be situations, let me put in a notch of flaps. There'll be situations where you'll be controlling it for everyone. You'll be like, okay, I want the outside view, and that's what everyone sees on the stream, right? Live. Then there'll be a scenario where you will see an independent view of my sim, whatever you want to see, however you want to see it, and it's not necessarily what the stream sees. And then we're going to have the competitions on who is the best cinematographer. You know, you'll take over the stream cinema. You know, you'll basically be the director of the stream. All the views, the flybys, everything. And then we'll have a competition on who's the best at Flaps 2. Who's the best at editing and manipulating the views. But yeah, that's gonna be a thing. Yeah, there'll be trolls. Yeah. Okay, we're a little high. I'm just gonna keep it at Flaps 2. What's weird is my scenery here is not showing. Oh, I know why my scenery's not showing. Because I updated to public beta 6. And I updated to public beta 6. Whoa. I'm testing the ground handling, the float. The float is real. And so this is a global airport overlapping my GPB 500, I think. This is a troll-free zone, yeah. Yeah. Alright, let's do flaps up. I need to get my GPB 500 back right now. But yeah, I think that's coming, where you're going to be able to control a lot of what you see on the screen. I think you're also going to be able to bring up certain instruments and certain pop-ups on your screen. And yeah, it's going to be pretty cool. Man alive. This is a... So I'll show you guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come into my X-Plane 11 directory, and I'm going to go to custom scenery, and I'm going to type in G, which will go to global airports, and I'm going to rename that to YY global airports. And then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to delete I'm gonna delete. Let's see here. We can sort it by that and then go to Y. All right, I need to get rid of Y and also Y. Delete. Now I just have YY global airports. And then I come down here to my scenery INI file. And I delete the scenery INI file. Yeah, there we go. Quick replay. And then we're going to reload the sim. Yeah, I float. I floated on purpose, right? Still a bit of runway left that you didn't use, I know. After that comes next, one person will be controlling the throttle, another pitch, yeah. Well, we kind of do that now with the shared, but you could, it'll cost you 5,000 snacks in order to take control of my aircraft at home on stream. I think it'd be pretty cool. Float, float, float. Whoa, don't touch down. Bring her down. Whoa, testing that flap. That was a bounce. That was a bouncy. So there you go. The Aerosphere simulations. Piper Warrior 2. Get yours today for $24.95. There are just a few sound bugs. Okay. All right, let's hit this. Let's go there, and we'll quit the sim, and we're going to talk. We'll go over to the chatty chat screen. Hit quit here.